Bellusci joins us. He always has the best DIYs. Love your projects. Today you're doing one of my favorite looks. It's grasscloth. It is a beautiful, there's something about it that just gives it texture and it's comfy in a space, but you're going to make your own.
Yeah, totally. It is very easy to do. And grasscloth is such a great product. And you know, it's got a very distinctive linear horizontal line. And you can see this paint finish that I've done, it carries that same line.
Right.
And if you look closely, Tracy, you can actually see the wall divided in 3 sections. And that's because grasscloth actually comes in rolls that are 36 inches wide.
So you made it so that it looks like you've actually put grasscloth up on the wall. Although that is a paint finish, it is so true to the real thing. That's grasscloth right there.
And this actually hangs in my home.
That is
so this was the inspiration. But the one thing, Tracy, about grasscloth is that grasscloth is not...
Can you show me that for a second, just so we can see the difference? I mean, you can barely notice any kind of a difference between this, the actual grasscloth, and what you've done up on the wall. So cool. Okay,
the thing with grasscloth, though, is that it's not cheap.
Right.
You know?
Which is why this makes sense.
Exactly. So if you, just to give you an example, if you have a 12-foot by 12-foot room, to do it in grasscloth, you'd spend a minimum $300 to $400.
Right.
With paint, you could do it for $100.
Oh, good savings.
Big savings, big savings. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start your wall off with a base coat.
Okay.
And I've used Benjamin Moore Flint, which is a nice dark gray, and I've sort of sectioned it off into 3 sections. And then what you're going to do is you're going to mix your paint and glaze. So it's important to put 1 part paint and 3 parts glaze.
Okay.
And it's important to get those ratios right, or else the mix is not going to be right when you're working on the wall.
Got it.
And you're really going to want to combine it really well. And then what you're going to need is you're going to need a painting tool. Now you can go out and buy some expensive painting tool in a store, but what I did is I actually went to the dollar store.
You got a comb.
And I got a comb, because I don't own a comb.
Right.
And I haven't owned a comb in like over 20 years.
I wasn't going to say anything, but that's...
It's all right, it's all right. I embraced it. So I bought a bunch of combs, and what I did is I actually broke off a couple of the teeth in it, because I wanted the lines to be a little bit more less irregular. You know, I wanted it to be more varied. And so you're going to need a tool like this. And then once you have your mix all sorted out, and you can see here in my paint tray, it actually doesn't change the color of the paint. I used James Borrell Gold by Benjamin Moore, and I've just mixed it up and got it really good, good mix. And then you get it on your roller, and then you're just going to roll it across. And the one thing about this is it's not going to go on perfectly smooth, which is totally fine, because you're going to want some of the darkness to show through behind, and you want that variation. And that's what I did for the wall that's behind you.
And the reason why you want the glaze in there is because you want it to have that grasscloth look. It's got to have that shiny, bumpy look, right?
Exactly. And it does give you the ability to work with the paint a little longer. And the best thing about it is, like, it gives us this translucent quality. So when you're peeling away the paint, it really works for you. So you can see I've sort of done it in these horizontal lines.
Yes.
And so, you know, some people, Tracy, think that faux finishes were very like 80s and 90s.
Well, yeah, they kind of were, but if you do it like this,
you save so much money.
This is good for 2015.
Exactly,
I would say.
it works.
Very sophisticated.
Now this is the fun part. You take your comb, and you literally just brush across and scrape, and you're going to apply some force, and then what you can do is you go over it once, and if you want to repeat it, you can repeat it, and you can go over it, and you can actually see the paint is even pulled back, and it's formed these little sort of like, it's almost like pills.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what you want.
And that's what you want. And it's going to give it the texture. And then if you can help me peel away the tape.
Sure.
So what you're going to do is you're going to do it in sections. And the best part about it is you can do one section of one wall, and then you can go to another wall, do another wall, and then come back and keep working around the room.
Right. And, you know, again and again and again, so you get that nice, bumpy, uneven texture. Really good job.
And I have one more other thing for you. So in case you don't have a room to work on at home, and you still want to try the project, I've applied the same technique and the same paint to an art project.
Cool.
I section it off, and I paint it in sections, and use paint and glaze. But instead of using a comb, I took a piece of cardboard and cut out bigger teeth on it, and then instead of horizontal lines, I just did it on an angle to get this sort of chevron design.
Very cool. I would like to just stroll your place and buy all your art.
Come
and I know
on
it's
over.
all DIY.
Come on over.
But I would buy it all. It's amazing. So you're going to find instructions for Antonio's faux grasscloth wall on our website. That's cityline.ca.